in the village of Fungdu, where hills curled like sleeping dragons, and the river moved slow as breath. The people marked their year not only by harvests and storms, but by the dead. Every seventh lunar month, when the moon hung like a pearl over the mountains and the crickets stilled their song, the air began to shift. Not cold, not warm, just thinner, as if the space between the living and the dead were stretching. Threadbare. There was when the gates opened. Not the gates of the town, not the temple gates, but the gates between all things, the ones carved into the belly of the world, where restless souls wander. They called it Ghost Month, and on its 15th night, the night of red fires and floating lanterns, it would peak, the Hungry Ghost Festival. There was a boy named Lin, 12 years old, curious-eyed, and clever-tongued. He didn't believe in spirits, he believed in logic, in rice harvests, in gravity, not old tales. Ghosts are just shadow and smoke, he told his grandmother, made up stories to scare kids. But his grandmother, Mi Po, only smiled. You don't have to believe, she said, but ghosts believe in you. She gave him tasks for the festival anyway. Burn these papers, she said, handing him Josh paper, shaped like tiny shirts and shoes. Your grandfather may need them. He sighed but obeyed. That night, Lin dreamed of water. Cold, dark water, full of faces beneath the surface. Eyes open, mouth moving, no sound, hands reaching upward. He awoke in sweat. On his windowsill, a lotus-shaped lantern flickered to life. But he hadn't lit one, and no one else was awake. The days passed strangely, the birds stayed quiet, his shadow lingered too long on the walls, and on the eve of the festival, Lin saw her, a girl in white, standing in the alley behind his house. She wasn't solid, she shimmered like heat above pavement. Her feet didn't touch the ground. She smiled at him, not unkind, but not quite human. You lit my path, she whispered. I didn't mean to, Lin stammered. You remembered me, she said. No one else did. She faded before he could speak again. He ran to Mi Po. She was already boiling dumplings, calm as ever. Sometimes, she said, a forgotten soul just needs to be seen. The entire village gathered by the river that night. Lanterns bobbed in every hand, gold, red, orange. Some shaped like lantern blossoms, others folded with prayers and tiny messages. Lin stood beside his grandmother, holding his lantern tight. As the gong sounded, the villagers began to release their lights. The river lit up like a trail of stars. Whispers filled the air. Not voices, but memories. People calling names, ancestors, lost friends, children who never grew up. I hope you're warm now. Forgive me. I'll remember. And all around them, shadows. The ghost had come. Not to haunt, but to see, to feel, to be remembered. At the hilltop shrine, great stacks of Josh paper were set alight. Paper houses, cars, food, gold coins, whole papers burning into smoke. Mi Po handed Lin a folded letter. What's this? For your grandfather. Lin hadn't known what to say to a man he never met, but now he understood. He opened the letter and he wrote, I didn't believe in you, but I hope you're out there, and I hope you're proud of her. He then set the letter on fire. The wind curled around him gently, almost like an arm. As the lanterns faded downstream, one light remained. It hovered over the shore, waiting. Lin stepped forward towards it and saw the girl again, closer now, clearer, her eyes no longer hollow, her hair moving in wind that wasn't there. Do you know my name? She asked. He shook his head. She smiled. You don't have to. You saw me. That's enough. And then she walked into the river, light following her, fading like a sigh. By dawn, the air thickened again. The offerings were ashes, the lanterns gone, the gates closed, but the village was quieter, kinder. That morning, Lynn swept the altar without being asked. He didn't tell anyone about the girl, but every year after, he made sure to light 2 lanterns, one for his grandfather and one for the soul with no name. We burn paper not for ghosts, but for memory. We light lanterns not to guide spirits, but to remember that we too are flickering lights. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can give the dead is a name, or a moment, or the simple truth: you are not forgotten.